Booyah. Just cruising. Episode 5. Episode 5. Kevlar Kess, Dr. Love. We are here to talk about, as always, a lot of things. A whole lot of things. But today's topic is going to be something quite sensitive. Is that the right word?
I think so.
Sensitive. Okay, wait, before that, hold on. How have you been?
Me?
Dr. Love. Yes, how have you been? It's been a minute.
I've been very well. Thank you for asking. Actually, I've been getting more sleep.
No way.
Yeah, I've been getting more sleep, so I feel a lot better for that. Training's on point. Life's delicious.
That's very good, you know.
Thank you for asking.
I know sleep is massively underrated. People underrate their sleep and they don't believe, they just don't sleep enough.
It's very true.
But for you to get enough sleep, that's a good thing. Well, are you talking about like sleep or intense sleep?
Well, two things, right? Because I'm freelancing with bartending, I end up getting late shifts. And there was one particular place I was working at where the hours were crazy. Like, I'd go all through the night. And so the quality of sleep wasn't very good. Even when I was getting enough hours, it wasn't deep. And so it's a combination of the two things. I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I wasn't getting enough sleep at the right times.
Right.
And so now I'm getting earlier shifts, and yeah, it's just a much better balance. I'm also getting paid more money, and you know, I can kind of pick and choose my hours a bit better. So yeah, I don't know why he's doing this, playing with his life. Somebody's cyclist.
I'm listening to you.
It's all good, man. It's all good. How about yourself? How you doing? Nah. What's that? Meh.
Yes.
Like.
Yes. I've been here.
I've been here.
I'm good. We're good. Sleep, food, no food, water, hydration, all that good stuff.
Oh, apologies. I didn't turn off my running app.
So basically, it's like I'm driving kit and the car is talking back. It's like disrespecting. No respect. I don't know that.
That's on me, man. Apologies, bro.
No, I'm talking about like this total distance. Charlie Shara, we're here talking. You're telling me
distance.
Total distance. Who are you? Where? You're spoiling my flow. Unedited, unscripted, unbroken. We go like that. As simple as that. So, okay, I've been sleeping as well. I'm trying to get enough sleep, but you know, we try to measure our circadian rhythm, which is your 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. or your sleep pattern, your deepest sleep. If you can't sleep 10 hours or 8 hours a day, you want to make sure you hit that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, the sweet spot. You know, that's by the by. Anyway, so today's topic is quite a sensitive thing. It's a sensitive thing about the 21st century. There's this old saying about tough times create tough men. You know, tough times create tough men, and then tough men give birth to tough men now create easy times. Now, easy times now create soft men. Soft men now create tough times. Kind of goes in circle.
Sure.
So it begins all over again, which is kind of where we are right now. We've now fallen into the birth of soft men. That makes sense. So
100%.
times are not as tough as they used to be decades ago. They're not. So we have slowly come into this whole cycle of scenarios are not as tough as they used to be. So now everyone is now softer, gentler, and calmer. Which now makes us fall in an environment, society per se, of men who have embraced the feminine side more than the masculine side, and also women who have embraced the masculine side more than the feminine side.
Yeah, facts.
Because everyone has it. We all have it. We'll have it. We have a masculine side, a feminine side. One will not exist without the other. Otherwise, one just becomes hyper, and it just keeps you imbalanced. And that's the beauty of life. Everything we do is about balance, right? Balance. So, what say you today, sir? What would you say your conversation today is about?
Well, I want to talk about men, because I do feel like we're speaking to men primarily, not to say women can't listen to the conversation, but I want to speak about men and what you just touched on in terms of feminine and masculine, because I do see a lot of feminine men, and especially because I'm working in an industry where I'm serving people. I see thousands of people every week, right? So I'm constantly seeing different interactions. I see men talking to women, I see men with women, whether it's like a partner or it's a girl they've just met, and it's frustrating because I just see so many guys that are not decisive. Like, for example, they'll come to the bar, I'll say, what can I get you? And he'll just look at me with a blank expression. A lot of times he'll just turn to the woman, like for her to bro, sometimes I want to slap some of these guys. Like, you look at her, or he'll be like, oh, whatever she's having, and you're just like, oh, come on, man. Or you come, or they come to the bar and she just places the order, and he just stands there and like gets his card out.
Right. You see that?
So I'm seeing the main reason I want to speak about this is I'm seeing a lot of feminine men in those environments, and then also guys who just fly off the handle, who aren't able to stay composed under pressure or in a difficult situation. They react rather than respond.
Impulsive man.
Impulsive man.
Right. So I like what you said about that, I think earlier. So remember, the a lot of men. First off, when we do these talks are for men. So if you don't like it, change the channel. I don't care. This is for men. Okay. Simple as that. It's not by force. This is for the men, because the men need to know this, and women also need to understand how we talk to men. Got it. How we talk with and talk about men. It's very important. Now, the first thing you said about like in the bar where the man goes and doesn't know what he's ordering. Many men today have not seen
A masculine man?
Not masculine men. They've not had masculine teachers.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, because one is a man and teaching does not mean he's a masculine teacher. You need to specify that, okay? It's not just every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's a man that can be masculine. It's not, okay? Because people they can be men, but they teach with a feminine frame.
Can I ask something? And this is I hate to be interrupted or to interrupt. The only thing is, I think a lot of people don't even really have a clear concept of what masculine or feminine is.
Yes.
So do you think it's worth us maybe defining that? When you say masculine teacher versus a feminine one, could you articulate? Because I know what you mean, but
see, I can articulate, but that'll take another 2 hours. Because
just a brief thing, like.
Alright, you start now, and I'll help you.
Okay. Well, so to me, I think when I speak of masculine, I'm talking in terms of yang versus feminine being yin. So masculine would be qualities such as boldness, being direct, being rational, being clear, being brave, being confident, being courageous, leading rather than following. And then feminine would be the opposite to those qualities: submissive rather than dominant, yielding, following rather than leading, being more vulnerable, being more sensitive, and so on. So
I'm going to interrupt you.
Go for it.
You said the word submissive.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very offensive word.
Only because a lot of people don't understand what it means.
Exactly. So when one says, it's not you, it's a lot of men that say that. And the thing is, men say that. They say that in non-understanding way. Now, the key, the beauty about submissive is actually this: cooperative and communicative. That's it. Because when the feminists hear that word.
The who? The feminists?
Yes.
So what we're calling them, I like that.
So when feminists hear that word,
Triggered!
no, it's not triggered, it's triggered. When the feminists hear that word, submissive, they get triggered. And triggered basically means, so submissive basically, it sounds like slavery. It's not. Submissive is actually cooperative and communicative. Well, as simple as this. Can we both have a conversation? That's it. That's cooperative. And that's communicative. If I say, okay, we're doing this, we're going to go here, 1, 2, 3. Are you going to argue with me? You're going to cooperate with me. That's cooperative, that's communicative. If every time I say, okay, we're going to go left, you're going to go, why are we going left? Oh my God.
It's not cooperative.
That's not cooperative. If you have to chime in your 2 cents every time someone says we're doing this, that's not cooperative. Now, you've not been taught better or taught otherwise that this is not cooperative. But every time someone says we're doing 1, 2, and you have to chime in your 5 cents, that's not cooperative.
Oh man,
I
hear you, and I think you make a really good distinction, and I think there are certain words which are so loaded, and I'm fully aware of how loaded that word is, and I said it anyway. And
that's good. I'm glad you said it, because I've been trying to explain this for a while. It's not what you think it is, because when we say so, but remember, it's the need to be right, or is the arguing for argument's sake. Have you ever gone to someone and said, oh, the sun is out, after daylight it's going to be nighttime? Yeah, but you know, it's not really sun, you know, it's like sun. It's like, Charlie,
there's some people that literally start every sentence like that. Yeah, but like, I just have to disagree for some reason. And the thing I want to add too, when it comes to this concept of whether you refer to it as submission, cooperation, being communicative with someone, it takes a lot of strength to allow someone to lead. So, for example, if you one of the things I like to do is Argentine tango, and in that dance, the male leads, and what's interesting is how the woman follows, right? But to be a follower, you have to be very present and very aware. You have to be very sensitive to what's happening. And sometimes they actually get men to go into following roles, so they get to feel like what it feels from the other side. So they understand the difference between being clear and being direct in your instruction, like your physical, movement. And what's interesting is how often I see women struggle with this thing of letting go. Let go and feel. They'll anticipate or they'll try and control things, and they have to almost unlearn a way of being that they've got from just being in a society where they're always having to do this, do that.
Why would you suppose that is?
Why would I suppose what is?
That some women can't let go.
I think there's probably a few reasons for it. For one, I think a lot of women haven't met a man that they've had good experiences with when they've trusted them. They haven't had that guy who they can let go and trust, who hasn't let them down. And they also just aren't used to it as well. Or
they could have had 1 or 2 bad experiences.
That's what I mean.
And compare again, person B with person A.
That's what I said.
Yeah, literally that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. I got something for you. You were talking about how the guys at the club let the women order this, and then we thought to do is, remember, like I said, they've not seen male leadership. 1, 2, they've not got the right advice from the right people. Because what you would do is you go to a pickup artist. To go, oh, how do I date women? Because you've not been raised by a man who knows how to handle that scenario of male-female relationship. So you're gonna go and find someone outside, but you find the wrong person. You find the flashiest person, or the person that has the algorithms done properly. So you think they're the ones that know the most because they can master the algorithm, therefore they know what you're talking about. So you see them on camera quick, so yeah, this person can blah 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 and the third. But not knowing that every time you let her lead, she becomes slightly less attracted to you. Every time you go, oh babe, no, you do first. You just go down like that. And it's just how it is. Get mad all day, but learn to take charge every time you can. Learn to take charge every time you can. Learn to lead. How do you do that? Learn to be proactive. So every scenario that comes up today, you should have arranged that in your head yesterday.
Nice.
You should have gone, okay,
nice.
I'm gonna go to blah blah blah. Whatever happens there tomorrow, I want to have made a plan for everything. So if scenario A happens, how do I deal with that? If scenario B happens, how do I deal with that? Scenario C, D, E. So whichever scenario might happen tomorrow, you need to have a plan for every damn scenario. And that way, if none of them happens, but scenario B happened, you're proactive. What happens, you handle it in a calm way.
Beautiful.
Most people who handle things in a panicked way is because they are not proactive. They never plan for this. You want to plan for everything. Remember, you play chess. This is chess. This is not checkers, this is chess. So you have to plan 5-6 moves ahead. What if this happens? What if that happens? You have to have a plan for it. So when it happens, you're like, cool, I saw that coming. You can handle it mentally.
You know, when you say this, it reminds me of because see, I was raised by women, so I was around a lot of feminine energy, and initially I was very feminine how I would react and deal with stuff. And I think one of the turning points for me was in my relationships, where I started to do what you were just talking about now, where I would plan and organize. So I wouldn't just say, oh, let's get together and go here. I would sit and really think about it.
Yep.
So I would sit and go, okay, where could we go? We could do this, and after that we could do this, and da-da-da. And I'd think about all of those different eventualities, like you said, and then I wouldn't just say, oh, hey, let's meet up at this time. I'd be like, okay, you know, I'd organize what time she's free. Okay, be here at this time.
Yep.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And you could see the woman would be like, oh,
yes.
Okay, so I don't need to take care of that. Like you've got this, and you could feel this shift in how my relationships became then, because then they could kind of let go and just sort of, I'm just gonna show up and be pretty. Right? And I'm not saying that in a demeaning way either. Like, she could just be in her feminine. And it felt, she can relax. And it felt really good for me to do that. And I just found that the more time went on, the more I just started to naturally do that in different areas. And I think what's interesting is initially when I started to do it, I could feel that there was a part of me that was like, well, what if it doesn't go well? Because now you're taking responsibility, right? Now you're putting yourself in the position to fail because you're taking responsibility for the situation. But you kind of realize that kind of comes with it. Like, you have to be prepared to just take whatever happens. And ultimately, you get better through practice anyway. Like, making decisions is how you get better at making decisions. There's no other way to do it. So, yeah, what you're saying definitely rings true to me. And I always see the difference. Like, if you're not prepared like that, your whole energy, your whole frame is not strong.
Be proactive.
Yeah. Be proactive. Be prepared.
If you haven't got
like that.
If you haven't got a space to take your woman out to, don't date her. It's that simple. If you are not gonna plan,
and concrete plans too, right? Like, not just like, oh yeah, should we get together Tuesday night?
Maybe, I don't think. No. None
like,
of this.
Boom.
You want to take, you want to take these things out of your vocabulary. I'm not sure. Maybe. Could we possibly take that out of your vocabulary? You need to be definitive. We're doing this. I'm doing this. I should. I will. Not I could. I should and I will. It's not I could. I will. I shall. You need to put this in vocabulary, because how you speak is how you are being determined, how you're being seen, how you speak to yourself, how you speak to others. You have to learn to actually listen to yourself speak, not just blah, 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 blah. You want to think before you speak. That's a very masculine trait right there. A lot of men need to start doing that.
Yes.
Stop, Before you say a word, shut the fuck up.
Ugh.
Think about what you're gonna say before you say it. Think about what you're gonna say before you say it. Don't go, oh, blah, 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 blah. Why did you say that? I felt like, nah, mate. Also, take the I feel like out of your vocabulary. Alright? You need logic. You need logic more than emotion. You need emotion, yes. But you need to be more logical than emotional. Say it again. You need to be more logical than emotional. Your life depends on it. Your existence depends on it.
I'm just gonna.
Your children depend on it. Your
gonna
children's
applaud that.
children depends on it. You need to be more logical than emotional. I don't care how anyone else feels. This message is for those who know. If it's not for you, I don't care. So those who want to hear this, you need to be more logical than emotional. There's room for emotion, but be proactive and be logical first. And then you can be emotional. Simple as that.
You know, when you say that, one of the first things that popped into my head was I think about how many men arrested, in prison, in all kinds of just complete life-altering situations because they were more emotional than logical.
Now, here's what's interesting, right? That emotional thing comes when you're impulsive. You're quick to react.
Mm-hmm.
It now goes back to, like I said, about being proactive. When you're proactive, when you've actually sat down and you've assumed every possible scenario before it happens, you've now dealt with it. So when it happens, you're not impulsive. You're like, okay, cool. This happens, I do 1, 2, 3. Impulsive is basically acting without thinking. Impulsive is reactive. Reactive, not proactive. When you're proactive and something happens, you're calm. You're calm. You have that calm. And guess what? Now here's the next one. When something happens, one scenario happens that you didn't see coming, you need to learn to be stoic, to be indifferent. That's it.
That's a superpower right
To
there.
be indifferent is simple as this. Doesn't bother you. That's indifference. That's stoic. That's indifferent. From a fighter background, I give example. Many fighters are constantly experiencing pain. Especially in the moment. You get hit. You are fighting. You don't show
You can't.
pain. You don't express pain.
You can't.
That's stoic. That's indifferent. You don't let anyone else see how you feel. Because in fighting, the moment your opponent sees that you feel that, they're going to use that against you again. In life, the moment someone sees that this hurts you, they're going to use that again. In life, the moment someone sees that you have an emotional response to this, they're going to use this against you again. So what you do is you practice being stoic. Not everyone has it. So you have to practice the art of stoicism, which is what? Act like you're not bothered. Just don't even flinch. Don't even don't flinch. Pretend you're not bothered. When you start to pretend or train on not being bothered for a while, you stop being bothered. Which is what? Those who don't deserve to see how you feel do not need to see how you feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think two things. One, and this goes back to preparedness, or being proactive as you called it, is accepting that anything can happen. I remember this scene from The Godfather when Vito says to Michael, he says, Michael, always remember, anyone is capable of anything. And I try to remind myself of that so that I'm not shocked when something comes up.
Yes.
And I think if you can be in that headspace where you're not expecting the worst, but you just know anything's possible, I find you're much less shockable. One thing I do want to ask you though, because while I can definitely see the value in what you're saying, indifference is definitely a superpower.
Yes.
And it's like kryptonite to other people in a lot of situations. What would you say to the fact that 3 out of 4 suicides are men, and in a lot of cases these are men who are maybe going through something and haven't found a way to work on it, process it, heal it, or whatever, and they've kept it to themselves, and eventually it's become too much, and through that isolation, and someone have gone on to kill themselves or tried to kill themselves?
There are many factors affecting that. Many factors.
Sure.
One of the factors I'll give example. One is generally men have 2,000 words a day.
Oh man.
Generally.
Go ahead. In terms of, you talking about vocabulary or how many words they speak?
Words before their brain gets tired on a daily basis. If you work in somewhere where you have to talk constantly, by days end you're knackered, you're shattered. Generally, men have about 2,000 words a day to use, right? Now, generally, women have 20,000, which is 10 times more than men do.
Life is cruel, man.
No, life is awesome. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's yin and yang. Remember, we balance each other because we actually listen to women more than women listen to us. So when you start talking, generally, when you start saying something, you have like a line to say.
PTSD, man. Sorry.
Exactly, because I'm saying this because everyone has experienced this before. When you start saying something, the automatic response becomes, so what you're saying is, brrrr. She's now said 10 times more than you have. So what you're saying is, brrrr. Now, if your woman is not talking to you, she's talking to someone else. Because those 20,000 words have got to be said. This is why if you see female circles, it's just everyone is talking over each other. No one's making sense. Echo chamber. No one's making sense. This is what it is. So now, what happens is when suicides, male often, male unalivedness, okay?
Unalivedness?
Yeah, unalive. It's like, boom, undead, unalive. Men unalivedness, right? Happens because I want this to get out there. I don't hear this. I don't want it to be censored.
This is important stuff.
Yeah, so I picked the words carefully. Right. So male unalivedness happens many times because a lot of men feel like there's no one to reach out to. Feel like there's no one to reach out to because the people they've reached out to have basically turned that against them. What you don't realize, not you, humans realize that a lot of women will say to their men, why don't you open up to me?
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Because if you told me how you really feel, we would bond and get closer and this, that, and the third. And then when this is now 90% of the time, which is what? More than the average, that he's gone out there and told her, these are my weaknesses, this is my kryptonite, or my hair is what my power is, Samson. What does she do? Use it against him. Why? Because she no longer sees you as the invincible superhero. You are now, there's no mystery or no challenge to you anymore. You're done. And then in every argument, for the need to be right, that comes up again. That comes up again. So I tell many men, and I will say this again, it's very important, okay? Do not open up to your girlfriends. If they're not your life partner, don't open up to them. If they've not known you for 10 plus years, do not open up to them. If you've not been together for a lifetime, do not open up to them. Because somehow, some way, it will be used against you. I told you so. I called it. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. What you need to do is find the right men to open up to. Not every man will get it. Okay? Again, the man and masculine. You need to open up to the right men. Because you can go to your own friends, but your friends have no experience in that which you are dealing with. And you can also go to other men who are married, but in their own marriage is what we call happy wife, happy life. Which is what? He's miserable, but as long as she's happy, we're good. Don't go there for advice. I'm telling you right now. The advice you want to get is the happy house advice, which is the happy spouse, happy house, which is she gets it, he gets it. That's where you go. So you don't go to everyone just because they have hair and balls and dick that they have advice for you. They don't. They don't. Go to the ones who are equipped to actually handle it to make you happy. Otherwise, you're going to go and get the wrong advice, and it's only going to make your situation worse and dire. Because let me just tell you the truth about the matter is, most women do not care how you feel. They don't.
Oh
They
man,
don't. All they care about
that
is...
sounds harsh, but boy,
It's real. All they care about is
how they feel and how you make them feel.
no, it's can you deliver? That's it. They care about how you make them comfortable. Oh,
That's what I
sorry,
just said.
less
How you make them
uncomfortable.
feel.
Absolutely, less uncomfortable. Not feel. So, I want a man that has a mansion, 6 bedrooms, blah, blah, blah. Why? So that I can sleep there and be less uncomfortable, more comfortable. That's it. So you need to find other men who are in the right frame of mind that you can get advice from. Don't go to impulsive men to go and get advice. For what? They'll just make you more impulsive, more irrational, and many things. Also, society tells men, how dare you have an erection? You're evil. How dare you be attracted to women? You're evil. It does. You have no right to have testosterone because testosterone bad. Look at you getting angry and aggressive. It's just a man being in his frame. Look around you. Everything in society is basically programming men to believe that
Anything masculine is bad.
masculine is bad.
Yeah.
That the men who are accepted are the men who are feminine.
Yeah.
And the more feminine you are, the more airtime you get.
Yeah.
The more feminine you are, the more playtime you get.
Yep.
The more you dress like a woman, the more airtime you get. So what happens is now, the ones who are younger, who don't know any better, they see this, and guess what we didn't talk about? If you ask a lot of people today, what do they want to be? You know what they say?
What did I say?
They want to be famous.
Yeah.
What does that mean? They want to be accepted by society. That's all they want to be.
Yeah.
They want to be famous.
They want people to like them and know
They
them.
want people to like them, exactly. So now, by
Fucking hell,
doing...
so backwards, man.
You're welcome.
Jeez.
So now, by
So
by
backwards.
doing positive reinforcement, I'm now controlling what the next generation is doing. Example, if I reward the effeminate men
Yep.
consistently,
Yep.
or I give the effeminate men more airtime than the masculine men. Example, if the masculine
I
man
can
gets,
think of so many examples right now.
of
Go
course
on.
you do.
Actors,
If the masculine man
artists,
gets,
musicians. Oh.
say, 20 minutes airtime, but the feminine men get 21 minutes airtime, you have basically used that small percentage to fill in that. So now that's quantity. And guess what? You now change the colors of the individuals. So the ones who have the quantity also have brighter colors, which is now quantity and quality. So it's the non-verbal way of telling people, look,
This is what you should do.
this is what you should do in order for us to accept you.
Yeah.
Because that is fame, acceptance by society.
Mm-hmm.
So, boom. The children grow up now wanting to be happy.
And it's such a false premise, because most of the famous people you see are far from happy, and it's all backwards, like I was saying just now. Because really, happiness is when you like yourself, right? And it's when you get to the point where you accept yourself, like, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you got stuff to work on or whatever, but your true fulfillment and happiness is going to come from your relationship with yourself.
But you don't get that.
But you don't get that because it's all backwards, and you're externally facing, right? You're plugged into this device, blah 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 blah, and you've lost that connection with yourself.
Right. So that's the problem. So where's the solution?
The solution to me is unplugging.
But you can't just unplug.
Well, there's a few things. I think you need to spend more time on your own, you know, outside of these different platforms. You need to get to know yourself. And I think, and we touched on this before when you spoke about male space, I think you need to be in environments where you are growing and you are being challenged and you're forming connections, but those that are meaningful, you know, people that you can learn with and grow with.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say to you.
Is that what you're going to lead on to?
Yes, is the solution is to spend more time with people, with the right people, without your phone. That's the key. The solution is to enjoy the quality of time you have with the people right next to you. As simple as this. If I'm with you for an hour, for that hour, I'm not going to be online. I don't care about what the world is going. This is our time. If I'm with you for half an hour, that's a half an hour together. What people don't realize is that if I'm with you for a while and you stop seeing me, I won't tell you why. But here's why. When I was with you for that small amount of time, your phone was more important than our time together.
Yeah.
Your phone was more important than our time together. I have this thing called self-respect and self-value. I value my time and my worth. I'm not doing that with you. If you take time out to come and spend time with me, I'm gonna give you 100% respect. That's me and you time. If someone else calls me when I'm with you, my phone's off. Or if it's on, you're not gonna get me. Nah, because right there, you made time for me. That's important. That's it. That's the solution. Is that the people you're with set boundaries. I always set boundaries. When you don't set boundaries, everyone takes piss of you. Every day I set boundaries and I reaffirm my boundaries. Which is what, if you're with me, no phones. Why is the phone always down? I'm with you. That's me and you time. If a person's always on their phone when they're with you, there's no point in being there together. What's the point?
But you know what's interesting? That's become a social norm for the majority of people. It's not
norm. No.
It's not. It's really not normal. But it's become a social norm. Like I see couples out, and then one's on the phone, everyone's on the phone, and it's rare that I see people just interacting.
Because one person in that group don't set boundaries. That's it.
Let's speak on this boundaries thing then. So, at what point do you establish this? Because there are certain boundaries I set as well. but literally from the first day when you meet up with someone.
Day one.
I like
Day
that.
one.
I like that.
But you do it softly. Day one is simple as it's like, okay, you know, we're here together, blah blah. I would appreciate it that for the next time, the next whatever time, no phones, because I want to get to know you for who you are. And thing is, when you set boundaries, you can't just be like, no phones, masochist. Nah, you have to be nice about it, because you two have to do the same as well. You can't be like telling your girl no phones and you're on your phone the whole time. No. So if I'm with you and there's an emergency on my phone, I will actually ask permission, or I will say to you, listen, I've got to do this in 10 minutes. Hope you don't mind. Respect the person you're with.
Well, the thing is, and see, some might hear this and might think, oh, that's kind of extreme. But actually, if you're giving someone your time, that's your life. And I think it's important to think in that context. If you're giving someone your time, that's a piece of your existence that you're giving them.
Yes.
And there's nothing more you can give them than that. Money
you.
isn't got that value. Nothing's got the same value as that.
But Dr. Love, dig this. No one values your time more than you do.
Big facts.
And if you don't let them know how valuable your time is, they will never value your time.
Say it again. Buzz. So true, man.
No one values your time more than you do. And if you don't let them know, value your time, they will never value it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Simple.
Oh, yeah, simple. But no. This is what it is. And I tell everyone this. This is why I don't work with everybody. I don't. I have I work with, like, no, we're doing this. And I tell people, for example, when I have clients, I let my clients know 2 o'clock is 1:45.
I saw you do that earlier on today, actually.
It's very important because you need to climatize the environment. It's very important. If you're working at 12 o'clock, please be at work at 11:45, because you're going to come in with the wrong energy, the outside energy, and you're just going to clash with everything and everyone, and then you wonder why today is not your day, because you are in a constant rush. You've not balanced out the equation. You haven't done anything like that. You know. And everyone sees it as a problem, and then you wonder why everyone sees it as a problem, because of you. And then you start thinking everyone's racist towards you. They're not. You are acting like the outsider by yourself. No one's doing that for you but you. So that's value your time. Respect other people's times as well.
I need to be better at that, actually, because I definitely need to be better at that punctuality. And I see the difference when I am there early. It's completely different, like you say. It's like you get to infuse that space with your energy. You get to chill. You get to kind of set the frame for how it's going to go, rather than
it's the best.
Trying to fit in or catch up. It's like it becomes your space, like you own the space almost. Yeah. And you can feel it, because when other people come in late, you can feel their kind of shakiness and stuff. And you're kind of like,
So once you start getting to wherever you go on time, which is earlier than the time, you're good. You blend in properly. You get to know everyone.
That's the other thing. You get to meet everyone.
You meet everyone. You get to know who they are, and whatever you're going through is perfect. It's perfect. I remember when I do seminars and workshops, like self-defense workshops in schools, right, and companies, corporate memberships. Right, I do like 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours workshops. Right, easy. For me, it's a walk in the park. I can stand for 4 hours and teach. That's what I do. You understand?
4 hours. Wow.
Bro, it's nothing. When you do what you love, you don't work. When you do what you love, it's not work. That's just what it is. For 4 hours, 6 hours, I can teach. No sneeze, no headache. For me, it's easy. But guess what happens? When I get there just in time, If we start at 12 o'clock and I get there, say 5 to 12 or 12 o'clock on the dot,
Mm-hmm.
I'm off my game. I'm off my game. Now, those who don't know will know. Because when I teach, I don't no. I don't mince my words, but when you see me teach, you know how I teach. Those who don't know, don't know. But when I'm on time, which is earlier than normal, it's wonderful. The class actually begins before time, and it flows so naturally. The flow is so natural, you don't even feel like you're in a class or seminar or a workshop. It's just us just having a chat, and it just flows in. So the FAQs, the question that they ask at the end, we start with the question in the beginning.
Wow.
Dude, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's what it is.
This also connects beautifully with what you said earlier about being proactive, being prepared, right?
Yes.
Because you're being prepared by being early.
By being early.
Whether you're hosting that seminar or you're attending it, because the person attending it now is going to have access to you before the rest of the class gets there.
There you go.
They
Thank
get
you.
to connect with you. They
Thank
get to
you.
ask you. Because I had this the other day as well. I went to some event. I got there early, and I got to ask the guy questions. It was like a breathwork class or whatever. And I got 2 or 3 like really good questions in
From the jump.
Before anyone's even arrived. And also now he's looking at me as you're a serious student. Like you want to learn this shit.
There you go. You now get that familiarity.
Yeah.
And he knows you by name. So now he's not teaching you like a buddy.
Yeah.
Now it's not a teaching seminar. You're having a chat. That's where it is. That's what it is.
That's a different level.
That's how it is. If you don't know, you don't know. And now when I'm doing workshops, the ones who are early were good. First name basis, having a chat. And the ones who come late, I'm like, they come and they're like, oh, I'm like, I just go, okay. Clearly don't get it.
So interesting.
It is. Because once you're proactive, once you plan ahead, everything else falls into place. And also, you are in your frame. Whatever you go to, you've now mastered that environment. You're good, you're fine, you're calm. If you study human beings, watch human beings, we move like animals. We move like prey and predator all the time. If you look at prey, they're very fast acting, very jittery,
Reactive.
very reactive. Predators, calm, slow, calm,
This is
cool,
perfect.
collective,
Prepared.
collected, prepared,
Yeah.
gentle,
Confident.
slow, confidence in their mind, in their frame. Look around you, like impalas, zebras, name deer, whatever animal you want to name. Animals that have the eyes on the side, basically. They're rushing. They're like, oh, I'm late. Running around, panicking, like you're about to get eaten. Now, human behavior, we read patterns. Most of our language is non-verbal. It's body language. Someone sees you doing that, and they know you're weak. Without question. They're like, yeah, weak. I can take advantage of that person. That person can be beaten easy. Now, let's call out names. Tigers, lions, wolves, bears, the ones that eat meat. Did they rush? Or didn't they rush? They know. They're like, I got this. They're calm. They're cool. They're collective. They're combative. But they know what they're doing. That's what makes you attractive. You are the big bad wolf when you need to be the big bad wolf. You are the papa bear when you need to be. It's there. You don't need to be. That's it. Be calm. Be cool. Be stoic. Be indifferent. Whatever it is, don't let it attack you. So it's fine. But think about it, most problems, can you solve them? Yes. So why are you panicking? Most problems, can you solve them? No. So why are you panicking? Whether you can solve it or not solve it, what's the rush?
And how does panic even help?
It doesn't. It only makes it worse. Because it's our fear, right? It's our false evidence appearing real. FEAR. As simple as that. It's like I believe in that fear thing as well, which is what you get: fantastic expectations, amazing revelations. For everyone, a resolution. FEAR. Is what it is.
You know, I want to add something to this mix. Working in high stress environments where there's a high volume of people, people around me are often stressed.
Yeah.
Without a certain level of self-awareness, I can get pulled into that. And even now, there are some times where it's like I can feel my breathing's a bit faster. But what's happening, I find more and more, is because I'm in those environments more and more. And also I meditate, so I have a baseline of calm, and I know what calm feels like. It's like I'm quicker and quicker to pick up on tension and stress in my body and just let go of it. Because as you said, you realize that ultimately you don't function any better worrying or being stressed. You actually perform better when you're calm.
Yeah.
And I have these situations now where people come up to me, they're like, "You're so calm." And it's because, for one thing, like, nobody's gonna die, right? We're serving drinks here, right? The worst that's gonna happen is this person's gonna have to wait a little bit longer for some alcohol. Now they might be getting irate or whatever, but that's their reality, and you don't even need to entertain that. And so now I find it's quite interesting. It's like a bit of a theater to me, because I kind of observe and I watch how people start to break down under pressure. Like, this person might go quiet, this person might get abrupt, this person might get aggressive. Everyone's got their own way of dealing with things, but there's a quiet power in being calm, which is so powerful. And I think when you've been in like real martial arts is really helpful for this, I think, especially if you're studying a combat art where you're used to sparring and being tested like under pressure. That it kind of gives you a quiet confidence. You're not the loud guy, you're not whatever, but you have a quiet confidence. And that's the second thing I kind of wanted to throw in there. I think having some sort of practical experience of something where you're used to dealing with stress, like you're used to dealing with a situation like someone trying to punch you in the face, which is going to get your adrenaline up, and you kind of learn how to manage that in real time.
Yes.
That then translates into other things, because you can go from that to, for example, giving a presentation, which might scare most people, and you're like, yeah, this presentation might be giving me some adrenaline, but it's not like when I was going to have that fight last week when I was thinking about, possibly getting beaten up and humiliated in front.
That is true. That is true.
It's like it gives you a different baseline of just managing stress.
You're right. See, I say this as well, which is every man needs male space. Every boy needs to see male space.
What's male space, Kez?
Boys need to see places where they see men fighting for freedom or practicing how to fight for freedom. So
beautifully expressed.
It's sports, it's rugby, it's football, it's boxing, it's Muay Thai, it's Jiu-Jitsu. It's something where the goal is red versus blue, this team versus that team.
Competition.
It's competition. Competition makes young men grow. Competition makes men grow. You need that space to actually vent, because remember, it's about testosterone and estrogen. Men generally have more testosterone than estrogen. Right?
So I was gonna say not these days, but go. I'll just be facetious. Go ahead.
Generally. So they need the space where they can practice fighting for freedom. a safe space, which is you can practice fighting, but safely.
Yeah,
That makes
controlled
sense.
environment,
Controlled sparring. So my gym's a safe space. A lot of men that come there to train, they train and they stay longer
Yeah.
because they train and they talk about how whatever they're going through, and they get the right advice and or suggestion. If it's not there, we point them in the right direction and say, okay, go here for right, go there for us. As simple as that. It's a safe space. It's their space. It's their safe space, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it because that's their safe space. Also, what makes it a safe space is that they have a Leonidas. Does that make sense? So
Please elaborate.
they have a Leonidas. They don't have so their leader, their gaffer, the boss, me, I don't teach and train them with a soft tone. Because bear in mind, they come to me for the masculinity. They come to me for the harsh. They come to me because they want the truth. Even if it hurts them, they come to me because they want the truth. So, if I say to them in this tone, oh, tonight we dine in hell, or this is Sparta, it's not the same ringing as this is Sparta, you know? Oh, tonight we dine in hell. Yeah, they need that. They need that lion's roar. But once they get the lion's roar and they get to express that energy which is withheld and everything's all out and is finished out there, then the talking comes in. Then the communication comes in, then the explosion. And bear in mind, we're non-judgmental. We don't judge, we don't criticize, we don't say you're a bad person. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one is perfect. So we are not expecting perfection from you. As simple as that. Because you go into the male circles and you go, oh, here's what I did. I messed up. I did this. And then that guy goes, ha! You did that? I'll do you one better. I did this. And you go, oh, snap. So it was all in my head the whole time. I thought life was sugar honey iced tea. I thought life was shit. But then this man has had it worse, but he's better than me. That one's had it worse. Because that's what it is. In those male circles, we get to share what nonsense we've been through, and then other men go, nah, you're fine. I did this worse than you. What? And we elaborate because it's like, whatever happens. We're cool. Nothing. The worst thing you can do is judge me and like, that's your problem. You ain't paying me. I ain't mad at you. You know? And then once you hear that you're not alone in your predicament, and your predicament is not as bad as you assumed it was, it takes that weight off your shoulders, which actually helps reduce suicide rates.
100%. And I think
full circle.
100%. And I think those environments and that kind of training is underrated as a means of kind of self-care and therapy, because there's certain studies that have shown exercise is as effective, if not more effective, than antidepressants.
Yes.
So a lot of times people's energy is depressed.
Yes.
Their energy is depressed. It's not necessarily that there's something wrong with them, but it's like their energy is so stuck.
Yes. And
they're very sedentary and so on, and that physical movement can really be powerful in transmuting certain emotions. Like I've done that myself sometimes. I've gone through something difficult and I'll just turn it into reps, and it changes the power of that workout so much, because now you've got this emotion. It might be anger, it might be frustration or whatever, but you put that into what you're doing, and a lot of times that can transmute some stuff.
That's true. It's very, very
It's one of my tools. definitely one of my tools.
It works. Again, back to the whole fight for freedom situation. Having that space where you can actually physically express yourself is key. It's key. It's why guys like video games a lot. Because video games are basically
I never thought about it before,
an
'cause I'm not into video
alternative
games.
way of expressing your freedom. Because remember, the key to every video game is you're fighting for your freedom.
Wow,
Name one game.
that's so interesting. Call of
And it's-
Duty.
Exactly.
GTA.
Modern Warfare, GTA, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. You're fighting to beat the boss, to fight for your freedom. Because if you don't fight, the world will come to an end. If we don't kill this terrorist, the world will come to an end. If I don't beat M Bison, the world will come to an end. It's always that. So I'm fighting for my freedom. Yes, to save the world, but for my freedom and my children's freedom.
The hero's journey.
The hero's journey.
Wow.
The hero's journey is actually selfless.
Yeah, because when the hero comes back, he comes back to serve.
There you go. Community. That's why many women don't understand why men love games. Because men don't even know why they love games, but it's in their nature. Because they're constantly fighting for freedom. The hero's journey.
It's just another way of that being expressed.
Yes.
Wow.
Without physically doing anything about it.
Yeah, without getting off your ass.
But you fought for freedom. So this is the thing. You need to actually get out there and fight for your freedom. Oh, another thing.
I just wish gamers would hear these words, man, because I'm sure there's
They
someone that will hear this and be like,
They
what?
Another thing that we don't talk about is dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia. Now, let me give you an example. As a fitness professional, I've met many people who want to train, get more muscular, get more buff, all these things, and they want to look like the comic book superheroes. So, this is body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia is basically when you don't see yourself the way you truly are.
Yeah, you got like a distorted image of
Your mind is distorted about what you look like because you are constantly looking at the body shapes of an artist's rendition.
Yeah.
You see my point? So
I knew someone that had that actually.
I know a lot of young ones,
Disturbing, man.
like there's an age limit. So a lot of people below 30 will come to me and they want to look like Goku. They won't say anyone else. They want to look like Goku.
You mean literally Goku?
Literally Goku. I'm not gonna call names if I don't mean names. They want to have the aesthetics of Goku.
An anime character.
Bear in mind, that's what it is. So now they want to have that Goku look. Now, the person that drew Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Akira Toriyama, used the physique of bodybuilders, and then he now exaggerated it a little bit more. So you get muscular bodybuilders, but then you now add more muscles to it. Now bear in mind, martial artists do not look like that.
No, they don't.
Because that's too much muscle mass, especially if you're throwing 1,000 kicks a day or 5,000 punches a day or 300 burpees a day. Your body will never look like that because you're going to have what we call striated muscles, which is thin, lean muscles. Because it's like me saying, because it's cardio. Martial arts is cardio. And Goku is supposed to be the ultimate martial artist, right? So for those who know, it does not make sense. It's just like, nah, that's not real. It's an animation. But remember, your own distorted image about you. You've seen this for so long, it makes you feel like your body's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. So you want to look like this person. Now the second one is the Marvel and DC characters. That muscle type, the Superman look, the chiseled, the chiseled boy wonder look. The beach body physique. Now the beach body physique comes with big shoulders, big delts, big traps, big biceps. Boom, because that makes your waist now look slimmer. But now we don't talk about the diet, nutrition, the constant dedication to what you're doing, but it's actually hard to maintain. You can get that body, but it will take a while. And once you get that body, you lose that body in a very short time.
I can imagine, because you probably have to maintain a certain exercise routine, eating a certain amount of calories, and yeah, that must be a lot.
When you keep your body below 5% body fat for a period of time, your internal organs stop working efficiently, because your body organs need an amount of fat to actually function properly. But we don't talk about that.
What would you say is optimal? Like to stay sort of shredded, but also so there's enough, like say 10%, 12%?
Varies on your lifestyle. If again, sedentary lifestyle, busy lifestyle, your work, your job, athlete, all these things actually matter. Because if you are below 10% body fat all year round, your body's going to start feeling you.
Interesting.
I say 10.
Interesting.
I say 10. I know I say 10, but for you and I saying 10 is not bad. You understand? But for most of society, it's hard to get to 15.
Yeah.
Or 20. It's hard.
So talk to me. When someone comes to you with body dysmorphia, how do you manage that then?
I tell them the truth in a nice way.
The same thing you've just said to me, essentially.
Yeah.
Around the knee.
I break it down. Like, that's not real. That's an autism mission. That's not real. For the ones that the deeper ones that go pen and paper, here you go. Draw yourself. People draw themselves worse than what they look like. So everyone else thinks
that's dope. I like that. So you get them to see how they see themselves.
Yes.
That's
Draw yourself.
Because you're making what's unconscious conscious.
Yes.
Which is what great coaches do.
Because that's the key. Is to get the mental first. Everyone can do bicep curls and whatever, but you need to know what's happening here. Because that's what it is. Once that starts happening, then because if you don't attack the mental, you're gonna waste their time and your time. Because you want the money from them. Oh, okay, just do this, and then 4 months down the line, they're only getting bigger and heavier and fatter, and you don't know what's happening. Don't know why. Because you can't endorphin your way out of it or hormone your way out of it. It's like it's there. It's all mental. It's mental first. You get the mental, you get the understanding, and that's what it is. So a lot of guys now, again, society is telling them, oh, this is what you have to do like to be attractive. So even if they're attractive men, right? They don't understand about their masculine frame. So they now think masculinity is 6-pack and broad shoulders. Makes sense now. So then you now see the really big muscular guys in the feminine. And and they think they're masculine because they've got big,
like the super tight jeans on and the super tight shirts, and it just all looks wrong. And you're like,
so
what's happening?
They think that's masculinity because DC Comics or Marvel Comics have said to them that those are masculine men. So they now assume to be masculine is the 6-pack and the chest and everything. And guess what? The women they're chasing, they let the women determine what masculine men are. Well, I like my guy to be like this. Okay. Okay. Well, she likes this kind of men. Okay.
Do you know, I think one of the things about this whole masculine thing is because masculinity has been vilified for decades now, in lots of different ways. And we see it in TV, we see it in movies. Like you have that. I think we might have touched on this once before, but you have that image of the dad who everyone just kind of goes, oh yeah, it's dad or whatever, with his dad bod. Ignore him.
The white
Do you know what I mean?
green
Yeah,
trousers.
just sitting there, like he just pays the bills and just gets mocked and just ignored and dismissed. And like there's just been this consistent kind of just disrespect towards men, to the point where most men, I think, are almost like apologetic for being a man, or afraid of being a man, and are constantly like tiptoeing around this minefield of, oh, should I do this? Should I say that? How is this going to come across? How am I going to look? La, la, yada, yada, yada. And the irony is, to be masculine is to be indifferent to how you're perceived.
Yes.
So it's like whether people like you or don't like you, or understand or don't understand or criticize, doesn't actually matter. And if you don't, until you get to that point, you're not really free.
So here's the clincher, right?
Drop it.
No one actually cares what men go through. Again, I said again. No one cares. That's the reality. Like, men are not loved unconditionally. Men are loved as long as they fit these conditions.
Yeah.
Understand that. Men are loved as long as they tick these boxes.
As long as you're getting this done.
The moment
It's so true.
the moment you stop ticking the boxes, love won't go.
That's why it's like what you did yesterday doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
What you did yesterday, last week,
Let me tell you.
it's like,
Here's
so.
what men go for exactly. You can be a certain way for 30 years. You can be a nice guy for 30 years. 30 years, right? When you do one thing wrong today, everything
That's what I just thought of.
No one, they're like, oh, I knew he was evil all along. Oh, like,
I was just thinking of the Will Smith slap. Is that what you're referring to?
no, actually,
It wasn't, but that's a perfect example, right?
Men, in general.
Shit.
That's true. No matter how good you've done it. Nah, I think for me, generally, I would love to have a one-to-one with Will Smith.
I would love for you to do that too, to be honest. He needs it. He needs an intervention badly.
No intervention. Just man, just talking. How are you? That's it. I don't do celebrity worship. I don't do that.
No, me neither.
I was like, hey Will, how are you? What's up? How's life? What's good? What do you want to drink? What do you want to smoke? What's your favorite meal? Let's go and buy food. That's it. Just chill. Just chill. Nothing. Just cruising. Boom. Just chilling. Nothing chaotic. I'm not your therapist. No.
Just talk.
Just talk. I'm the guy that's not your yes man. I just want to know how you're doing. That's all it is.
I think he needs that.
That's all it is. People don't get it. Like, and again, it's about the right people. So he's not going to be online saying about how he feels. But no, that's the smart thing he's doing. But one day, I'll have a talk with him. Don't worry. One day we'll have a talk together, a little heart to heart, a tete, just chat. Me and Will Smith, nothing crazy, just talk. It's in the works. All right. Yeah. That's so important. And here's what's more interesting, right? The reason why a lot of men, or men in general, are being challenged, it's a natural phenomenon, right? It's just natural. So imagine, let me say, I make it easy for you, right? Imagine the woman you're seeing.
So again,
Imagine the woman you're seeing has not seen masculine traits about you, in you. She's gonna push buttons. She's gonna test you, piss you off, annoy you, push buttons, just to see how you react to a scenario. You're gonna react in an impulsive way, or you're gonna react in a I got this, I'll do it way. That's all it is. We call it shit testing. For no reason you're gonna get shit tested. because she's testing masculinity. And then when you're impulsive or react in the wrong way, you're losing points. She becomes less attracted to you. And when she does that and you go, I don't know, how about you decide? Losing points. So all she's testing you for is to see if you can stand your ground.
Yeah.
If you can stand your ground, be a provider and protector, because she wants you to be a procreator. Because it's unconscious. Well, unconscious is basically.
I'm so glad you said that too, because there was a time when I was younger and I used to think these creatures are evil, and then like as I got older, I realized
women are not evil.
It's not even a conscious thing. It's just
Women are awesome.
I think they're hardwired to do it to kind of make sure you're being who you're supposed to be.
Now here's what it is, right? If I'm going to be in bed or unable to do what I need to do for the next 18 months, 24 months, I need to know that the person who has my back has my back for the next 2 to 18 years. But how am I going to know that? I need to test to see if they've got my back. It's unconscious.
Yeah.
But once you get it, the formula, it makes sense now. It's not a bad thing. It's going to happen. And you're going to, for every level, you're going to be shit tested. Don't worry.
Do you also find, however, because this is my experience anyway, that the more you are on point, the much less those tests take place.
Yes.
Because once upon a time I was getting tested a lot, and now those tests are few and far between.
Here's why. You were not showing. You were on point. You were on point to yourself. You were not saying, alright, look, I've done this, I've got this, I've done this. You're not bragging. You were not arrogant.
Oh, arrogance. That
When
came up with a
when you are
conversation
brash
recently.
and arrogant, you hardly get shit tested.
Yeah, you know, you're right when you say that, because that's never been my demeanor. I'm more quietly confident. But then you're right, because I'm quietly confident, there are times when I could tell women are like,
What was he
is
thinking?
he that guy or is he not that guy? You can kind of tell they do that. No, you're spot on. You're spot on, I'll give it to you. Because I've never liked embodying that. I think I am becoming more arrogant as time's going on. Because you have to have a certain... You got to know you're the shit on some level, because if you don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it, right?
You got to A, know you're the shit. B, let them know you're the shit.
Let me finish this thought before I forget. What I was going to say is, what I do notice is when guys are more brash and arrogant, it almost like it throws women off, because they're just like, because it's so the other extreme to what they're used to, that, like you said, they don't test.
Oh, you think you're all that? Yes, I am all that.
I might start being more brash and arrogant.
You need to be. Especially as you're getting on what you're doing. Shit testing just pisses you off. Like, listen.
That's the thing. I just don't have any patience for it.
Don't. Yeah. You said, no, I'm not doing this today.
I'm not doing this today.
Not today. Legit. I go, no, stop, not today. Because you're going to get shit tested. And the thing about that is, you know what shit test looks like. It's got a question mark. So how is that? No. One of the questions, let me know. No. Yeah, but no. Just is what it is. You're going to get shit tested. You name it, it's gonna come. Just randomly out of nowhere. Boom, shit test. Because all someone wants to know is, has he got my back? That's it. Can I fall back and trust his masculinity? Why? Because all around women today, there are many men who are not worth it.
Yeah.
So they would find it easier to keep testing you, because they fear that if you're not the one, they basically fear that they can entrust their whole life onto you and you might not be the one that might fall and be in danger. That's where you get shit tested. It's fine. It's natural. So once you understand the why, the what, the who, the when, the where, no one's bad. There's no evil. There's nothing. It's just, so this is why. It makes more sense. That's it. That's it. Simple as. So in general, passing, men need to be more proactive. They need to be less impulsive. They need to be less reactive. Don't just react on things. And be indifferent. Pretend to be indifferent. Just pretend. If someone tries to get at you and you don't respond, they'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
Or sorry, apologies. If you don't respond emotionally, they'll stop doing it. So if you have a go at someone, or if someone has a go at me, and I go and I freak out like that emotionally, they'll do it again tomorrow. Now there's a time and a place to have an emotional response, but you have an emotional response after you've logically seen your situation and okay, so example, proactive. I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna see person A. Person A is going to say 1, 2, 3, or 4 to me, right? Guarantee. Why? Because person A is a dickhead like that. Period. Right? You know, I crap you not. So, how would I respond to person A? Oh, you can't be saying this to me because it hurts my feelings. Okay. What would they do? They'll do more next time. In a different way. Simple. So what I would do is person A, I'll go, okay, you know what? Should I A, punch their teeth out? B, slap the shit out of them? It's too easy. C, diss them back. D, just ignore them. They don't exist. I'll do D. I don't pay attention. It's like, yeah, don't exist. And then they go, oh, how dare you not give me attention? Because all they want is your attention. Positive or negative, they want your attention and energy. Don't give them.
Yeah, a lot of times people can't function when you don't care. Patrice O'Neill said that.
Be stoic, be indifferent. Don't care.
Can't function.
Don't care. No, I don't care. Yeah, but you should care. Why? It's not by force.
I want to throw one more thing in terms of I was talking about processing difficult situations, emotions, whatever. I think it's important to develop your own toolkit. Do you know what I mean? And like for me, meditation's in there, training's in there. There's certain friends, like you said, who I know I can call if I need to talk about stuff. It's rare because I find I can process things myself. Now and again, there might be something I need to speak to someone about. But I think you've got to work out what your own particular toolkit is. And for me, like, it's like meditation, training, gratitude. Rarely I will journal some stuff and write some stuff out, like if I need to process. But I think you got to have your own toolkit where you can manage your stuff, because I don't think, like you said, we can always rely on external parties for every little thing like that. I don't think that's the way forward.
You shouldn't.
I think you need to be independent and you need to take ownership of your own stuff. And if it gets to the point where you can't process it, then yeah, obviously you might have to look at some other alternatives. But I think you need to be able to manage stuff. Because I just see too many guys now that are just like every little thing they're moaning or whinging or going on about it. And I was working with a guy the other day and I was just like, shut up, man. He was like, what? I was like, I don't want to be listening to this the whole evening. And then he just laughed because he was like, yeah, I am being a bit of a bitch. Let me shut up.
Alright, let me end with this.
Good.
3 things that men do that make women less attractive. Less attractive.
Make
to
themselves less attractive to women, you mean?
No, so 3 things that men do that make women less attracted to them.
Oh, less attractive. Yeah, okay, yeah. This was.
Or 3 things that men do that makes them unattractive. you complain,
Yeah.
you blame, and you shame. So if you want women to find you more attractive, men, stop complaining, stop blaming, and stop shaming.
Not sexy.
It's not sexy at all. All right, everyone.
It's been emotional.
On that note, it's been emotional. Next time. Peace.